Chapter 17 of the American Housewife. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Veronica Jenkins. The American Housewife by Anonymous. Chapter 17. 293. Plain Fritters. Stir a quart of milk gradually into a quart of flour. Put in a teaspoonful of salt and 7 beaten eggs. Drop them by the large spoonful into hot lard and fry them till a very light brown color. They are the lightest fried in a great deal of fat, but less greasy if fried in just fat enough to keep them from sticking to the frying pan. Serve them up with liquid pudding sauce. 294. Apple Fritters. Take 4 or 5 tart, mellow apples, pare and cut them in slices, and soak them in a sweetened lemon juice. Make a batter of a quart of milk, a quart of flour, 8 eggs. Grate in the rind of 2 lemons, and the juice and apples. Drop the batter by the spoonful into hot lard, taking care to have a slice of apple in each fritter. 295. Cream Fritters. Mix a pint and a half of wheat flour with a pint of milk. Beat 6 eggs to a froth, and stir them into the flour. Grate in half a nutmeg, then add a pint of cream, a couple of teaspoonsful of salt. Stir the whole just long enough to have the cream get well mixed in, then fry the mixture in small cakes. 296. Oxford Dumplings. Take 8 ounces of biscuit that is pounded fine, and soak in just sufficient milk to cover it. When soft, stir in 3 beaten eggs, a tablespoonful of flour, and a quarter of a pound of Zante currants. Grate in half a nutmeg, and do up the mixture into balls of the size of an egg. Fry them till a light brown. 297. Apple Dumplings. Pare tart, mellow apples. Take out the cores with a small knife and fill the holes with sugar. Make good pie crust. Roll it out about 2/3 of an inch thick. Cut it into pieces just large enough to enclose 1 apple. Lay the apples on them and close the crust tight over them. Tie them up in small pieces of thick cloth that has been well floured. Put the dumplings in a pot of boiling water and boil them an hour without any intermission. If allowed to stop boiling they will be heavy. Serve them up with pudding sauce or butter and sugar. 298. Lemon Syrup. Pare thin the rind of fresh lemons, squeeze out the juice, and to a pint of it, when strained, put a pound and 3/4 of sugar and the rind of the lemons. Dissolve the sugar by a gentle heat, skim it clear, and let it simmer gently 8 or 10 minutes. Strain it through a flannel bag. When cool, bottle, cork, and seal it tight, and keep it in a cool place. 299. Orange Syrup. Squeeze out the juice of fresh oranges and strain it. To a pint of the juice put a pound and a half of sugar. Set it on a moderate fire. When the sugar has dissolved, put in the peel of the oranges, and set the syrup where it will boil slowly for 6 or 8 minutes. Then strain it, till clear, through a flannel bag. The bag should not be squeezed while the syrup is passing through it, or it will not be clear. Bottle, cork, and seal it tight. This syrup is very nice to flavor puddings and pies. 300. Blackberry Syrup. Procure nice high vine blackberries that are perfectly ripe. The low vine blackberries will not answer for syrup, as they do not possess the medicinal properties of the high vine blackberries. Set them on a moderate fire, and let them simmer till they break to pieces, then strain them through a flannel cloth. To each pint of juice put a pound of white sugar, half an ounce of cinnamon, powdered fine, a quarter of an ounce of finely powdered mace, and a couple of teaspoonsful of powdered cloves. Boil the whole together 15 minutes. Strain it, and, when cool, add to each pint of syrup a wineglass of French brandy. Bottle, cork, and seal it. Keep it in a cool place. This, mixed with cold water, in the proportion of a wineglass of syrup to 2/3 of a tumbler of water, is an excellent remedy for the dysentery and similar complaints. It is also a very pleasant summer beverage. 301. Elderberry Syrup. Wash and strain the berries, which should be perfectly ripe. To a pint of juice put a pint of molasses. Boil it 20 minutes, stirring it constantly, then take it from the fire. When cold, add to each quart 4 tablespoonfuls of French brandy. Bottle and cork it tight. This is an excellent remedy for a tight cough. 302. Molasses Syrup for preserving. Mix 8 pounds of light sugar house or New Orleans molasses, 8 pounds of water, 1 pound of powdered charcoal. Boil the whole together 20 minutes, then strain it through a flannel bag. When lukewarm, put in the beaten whites of a couple of eggs and put it on the fire. As soon as it boils, take it from the fire and skim it till clear. Then put it on the fire and let it boil till it becomes a thick syrup. Strain it for use. This syrup does very well to preserve fruit in for common use. 303. To clarify syrup for sweetmeats. Put your sugar into the preserving kettle. Turn in the quantity of cold water that you think will be sufficient to cover the fruit that is to be preserved in it. Beat the whites of eggs to a froth, allowing 1 white of an egg to 3 pounds of sugar. Mix the whites of the eggs with the sugar and water. Set it on a slow fire, and let the sugar dissolve. Then stir the whole up well together, and set it where it will boil. As soon as it boils up well, take it from the fire, let it remain for a minute, then take off the scum. Set it back on the fire, and let it boil a minute. Then take it off and skim it again. This operation repeat till the syrup is clear. Put in the fruit when the syrup is cold. The fruit should not be crowded while preserving, and if there is not syrup enough to cover the fruit, take it out of the syrup, and put in more water and boil it with the syrup before putting back the fruit. End of chapter 17. Recording by Veronica Jenkins, Ottawa, Illinois.